What's up, guys? It's Zach the Celtics guy here. I'm back with another video. And I know last night in my stream I said I thought I was going to be taking a little bit of a break after my stream last night. I know I said that I was going to do that Friday. Well, it's Friday evening, 6:41 p.m. And I got to relax all day and just chill out. And earlier today, while I was chillaxing while Steven was at work, I came across this one video on Jimmy Dore's channel where him and Max Blumenthal uncovered a story from the Summit of Americas where the Organization of America's Secretary General Luis Almagro was confronted by a protester over his support for the 2019 coup that ousted Evo Morales, and that was backed by the CIA. And this protester was lecturing him about, how are you here to talk about media freedom when you yourself supported a right-wing coup that ousted a democratically elected leader by the name of Evo Morales, and that was taken over by an interim president, Jeanine Áñez, who was a right-wing butcher and a dictator who slaughtered Evo Morales supporters and shot at peaceful protesters and basically turned the whole country upside down. And then she got ousted from power by Evo Morales's loyal supporters and by a different government. And now there's an Evo Morales-style lefty in there by the name of Louis Acri. So basically, he was confronted over this. And he was escorted out of the summit because he was speaking the truth. And some people might say, oh, but he was disrupting the summit or whatever. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter whether or not he was disrupting the summit. It doesn't matter, because this guy, this protester here, and I'm going to play the clip. It's part of the this video from Jimmy Dore's channel that I'm going to link in the description, and I'm going to link the article in the description as well. So no, this protester is a hero. This protester is a real American patriot, okay? If I was at this summit in Los Angeles, I would be doing the exact same thing, because this is something that I actually believe in. This is something that I vehemently believe in, for that matter. As someone who's center-left and staunchly anti-imperialist, I am obviously, against laissez-faire capitalism and against, right-wing authoritarianism and against authoritarianism in general. I give props to this guy, and I'd be doing the same thing. And I support every single thing that this guy said. Because the right-wing coup in Bolivia in 2019 was backed by Donald fucking Trump. So yeah, stay classy. So I'm gonna play the clip, and we'll talk about it as we go along here. But no, I'm in agreement with everything that this guy said. He's a hero.
And he was killed. You're here to lecture about media freedom when you installed a dictatorship that murders journalists and murders innocent people. You have blood on your hands. Because of your lies, there was a coup in Bolivia, a coup against the democratically elected government, and that dictatorship that you helped install massacred 36 people, 36 innocent people who are protesting for the restoration of their democracy, for the restoration of the independence of their country. And the towns of Sacaba and Secata, people were protesting peacefully, indigenous people, workers, women, students, demanding the restoration of that democracy that you helped destroy. Destroy because the United States wanted to plunder the resources, the lithium, the gold, all the mineral resources, the gas of Bolivia. The corporations in Wall Street in the United States wanted to loot the resources of Bolivia. And so you helped install a dictatorship that would facilitate that looting.
Him and the CIA supported that. And probably Israel supported it too. No, that's what Jeanine Áñez did. She massacred 36 people and more. Hundreds of leftist protesters were massacred by her right-wing forces. This is American foreign policy in a nutshell, people, particularly in Latin America. This is why people throughout Latin America do not trust the American government, and rightfully so.
In Sacaba and Sencata, dozens of people were massacred by the soldiers of your dictatorship. The soldiers of your dictatorship. And one of the people that your dictatorship murdered was a journalist, Sebastian Moro. He was a journalist who was exposing the lies that you were telling and exposing the truth about the coup that you orchestrated, and he was beaten to death in his apartment. And now you come here and dare to lecture about media freedom, about democracy, about human rights. You have no shame. You're a murderer, and you're a puppet of the United States. A puppet of the United States. In Venezuela, too, you dared to support the coup attempt that Juan Guaido ridiculously, outrageously tried to attempt and declare himself the president of Venezuela.
Yes, he also brought up the coup in Venezuela that was facilitated by the CIA as well, and supported by this right-wing neocon by the name of Luis Almagro. I might be butchering that name, but that's the guy's name. That guy supported 2 coups in 2 individual countries with an attempt to oust the leftist governments in those countries, simply because he and his puppets did not like. Oh, wait a minute, he's the puppet that the U.S. government and the CIA is basically backing in this scenario.
What a lie!
Juan Guaido is a CIA puppet. He is basically a right-wing CIA puppet that the CIA propped up with a desperate and pathetic attempt to oust Nicolas Maduro. It doesn't matter what people say. Nicolas Maduro is the legitimate president of Venezuela. If you don't like it, then too fucking bad. That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter.
What a lie! The majority of people in Venezuela had never even heard of Juan Guaido. And yet you said that he's the president, and I believe you still ridiculously say that Juan Guaido is the president of Venezuela.
Trump said that, and Joe Biden is also saying the same thing. In fact, Joe Biden was one of the first Democratic candidates in the 2019-20 election to support that motherfucker, Juan Guaido, who is a right-wing CIA puppet.
That is an outrage and it's an insult to the democracy and the sovereignty of the people of Venezuela.
America is the land of freedom and democracy. We're spreading democracy throughout the world, right? Democrats and Republicans use that same fucking bullshit shtick every single fucking time. It's the most pathetic crock of bullshit ever. And this is why the rest of the world, every single time the U.S. government says we're spreading freedom and democracy throughout the world, the rest of the world's like, ha, really? Sure, yeah. Look at Bolivia, look at Venezuela, look at Chile, look at Cuba, look at all the countries that you supported right-wing dictatorships in, all throughout South America, all throughout the Caribbean, you name it. American democracy stinks of hypocrisy.
How dare you do this? You murderer who murdered people in Bolivia. You murderer who supported the sanctions in Venezuela. The sanctions in Venezuela that killed...
We have a room full of people. Yeah, probably a room full of puppets that want to sit there and listen to what this neocon puppet has to say. And as a matter of fact, to their credit, they actually stayed silent and actually listened to what this guy said. Probably because people knew that, oh shit, oh boy, shit's about to get real, son. Shit's about to get real.
40,000 people. 40,000 people because of your lies, because of the coup attempt that you've been part of. And you are nothing but a murderer, and you have no shame here. You come and talk about human rights to lecture the whole world, to lecture the whole hemisphere. To lecture the whole hemisphere about democracy and the freedom of the press.
Good for him. This guy is a fucking hero.
When Sebastian Moro, an Argentine journalist who is in Bolivia, exposing the truth about the coup, and he was killed. You're here to lecture about media freedom when you installed a dictatorship that murders journalists, that murders innocent people, workers, indigenous people, students, you. Way to go.
Way to go is right. Agreed 100%. That guy knows his shit. He knows his history. More of my fellow Americans need to come out and call this bullshit out, because this is the state of where American foreign policy is today, particularly in Latin America and in the Caribbean, where the U.S. government is backing right-wing coups against socialist leaders throughout the region, because these are right-wing capitalists that are going in and trying to oust the socialist governments simply because they don't like the socialist governments there, even though the socialist governments are legit, have no bearing on the United States whatsoever. But of course the neocons and the neoliberals that run this country and run our government and are corroding our country and our democracy and everything that the US stands for, they support this shit. They support this type of thing. Marco Rubio, a bloodthirsty neocon war criminal, supports this. Ron DeSantis, a bigoted neocon who's also a warmonger, also supports this type of thing. Rick Scott, a wishy-washy neocon, also a warmonger, supports this. Trump, also, same thing. Corrupt, bloated, fraud, and businessman, fake billionaire, fascist buffoon. This was his. This was on him, because he was the one behind this coup in Bolivia. Trump, basically George W. Bush without manners. That's who supported this coup. It was Trump. This was under Trump and Mike Pompeo, one of the worst war criminals to inhabit the face of the earth. This is their legacy in Bolivia. This is Trump's legacy. This is Mike Pence's legacy. This is Mike Pompeo's legacy. This is 95% of the Republicans running this country. That's what their legacy is. And this is not just the Republicans. This is the Democrats too, because Joe Biden is supporting this shit. When Luis Acri took power in Bolivia, he tried to lecture Bolivia on turning around and locking Janine Áñez up by overthrowing her and putting her on trial for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And Joe Biden voiced concern over her treatment, because Joe Biden is the same thing. He's an establishment puppet and a shill. And this is exactly what they did. This is what Joe Biden supports, this is what the neoliberals support, and this is what the neocons support. They all support this stuff. They all support this shit. Juan Guaido is not a legitimate president, just like Janine Áñez was not a legitimate president. Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil is also not a legitimate president, because I guarantee you there was some kind of right-wing coup conspiracy to try to get Jair Bolsonaro into power in Brazil, where he is now destroying his country and destroying the rights of minorities, women and gays and feminists and everybody else around him, and his critics and everything else. That's Jair Bolsonaro's legacy. The guy that basically considered Donald Trump his best friend. This is the state of our foreign policy. And according to TowardMediaFreedom.org, OAS Secretary General denounced as assassin and puppet at Summit of Americas. And this was a clip from Breakthrough News. Two news sources, TowardFreedom.org and Breakthrough News, are two news outlets that are speaking the truth. And this is something you will never see in the American media, because the American media that is controlled by the neocons and the neoliberals and the Zionists will never talk about this type of thing. This is American foreign policy in a nutshell. Evo Morales was the legitimate president in Bolivia, who was a leftist, but he was a socialist-leaning leader. You know what Evo Morales' legacy was? Expanding social programs and healthcare and education for his citizens, and reduced poverty in Bolivia substantially. And what did Janine Áñez do? The right-wing coup monger that was backed by the CIA and probably by Israel too. She went in and massacred 36 people in all sorts of different areas in Bolivia, including in eastern Bolivia, where right-wing rebel groups still have somewhat of power, but they're slowly but surely losing their grip on power in the eastern part of the country because of the control of the leftist-style government run by Luis Acri, who is an ally of Evo Morales. He's also like a socialist-leaning person. But, so me as a social democrat and as somebody who is an anti-imperialist, I'm ashamed as an American that this type of shit is happening in the name of the United States of America, because it's a joke. Our government does not give a shit about us. They don't give a shit about us as Americans. They don't give a shit about anybody. They only give a shit about themselves and their corrupt power and these puppet governments that they go in and they facilitate, train, and finance and give support to. This is what American foreign policy has been for so long. And this is what Joe Biden is supporting. And this is the summit, the same summit where Joe Biden excluded the three presidents, one from Cuba, one from Venezuela, and one from Nicaragua. Daniel Ortega in Nicaragua, Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. It's outrageous. Oh, of course, and of course the current president of Cuba. I keep forgetting that the Castros don't run Cuba anymore. And also Cuba's president, Miguel Diaz-Canel. He was also excluded from the summit too. And Mexico's president and the presidents of several countries throughout Latin America refused to attend. And rightfully so, because they stood in solidarity with their socialist neighbors and their socialist allies, while the CIA is trying to go in there and try to prop up right-wing capitalist governments like Jair Bolsonaro, who's like a crusader of a privatizer, believes in nothing but privatization, something that's been corroding the United States of America for decades and decades. So, no, the protester who did this is a hero. This man is the real man that deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. This man, for his activism as an anti-war activist, this man is a hero. This man is the definition of what a real American patriot looks like. You want to know what an American patriot looks like? Now, in the eyes of the right wing, the only people that are patriots are the people that just blindly defend America like America's great no matter what. What we do, it's great because America does it. No. Real American patriots are people like this guy. As if the Republicans and the Democrats care about our country and try to act like they're patriots. What about all the veterans in the U.S. that they send off to die in wars of aggression overseas? What about all of the thousands of veterans that are still in poverty and sleeping on the streets? Yeah, we really give a shit about our veterans, right? Yeah, we really care. Get the fuck out of here. I love this man. I wanna share a beer with this guy. I want to shake this guy's hand. As a fellow American, I want to shake this guy's hand because this guy is great. And Jimmy Dore is also a great man, and so is it Max Blumenthal. We are the real progressives who stand up to this bullshit, not the fake progressives like the Young Turks that spew CIA talking points like they did on Syria over chemical weapons that are a hoax, and they believe the chemical narrative and that story about Bashar al-Assad, Syria's legitimately elected president, who is a secular leader and has Muslims and Christians on his side. And Sam Cedar, who is a virtue signaler and is a fake progressive, masquerading himself as a progressive, but he's a TYT ass kisser. No, fuck those people. Jimmy Dore and Max Blumenthal and Aaron Monte, people like us and Glenn Greenwald, we are the real progressives. We are an example of what we want us on the left want to look like. We believe in talking to the other side, and we also believe in real progress in the world. Enough with American intervention, enough with American imperialism, enough with right-wing coup mongers and right-wing coups. Enough is enough. And enough with the state of where America is today. Because we actually give a shit about our country and our neighbors. And we want something better for our country. Not this. This is nonsense. And this guy, excuse me, Luis Almagro, the Uruguayan lawyer, diplomat, and politician who currently serves as the 10th Secretary General of the Organization of American States. He served as Minister of Foreign Affairs between 2010 and 2015 during the presidency of Jose Mujica. And which is kind of funny because President Jose in Uruguay was kind of like, he was like a center left figure, but he believed in having good relations with the rest of the world. You know, he was allies with Iran, he was allies with Brazil, but he also tried to have good relations with Hugo Chavez in Venezuela and Evo Morales in Bolivia. And also with Lula da Silva in Brazil when he was president. But his foreign minister, his former Minister of Foreign Affairs, turned into a friggin' neocon, and he's now over there trying to sit there and act like, no, I support the coup there. So he goes from acting like this. Oh yeah, he also hosted a conference on the situation of human rights in Cuba in 2009, lifting Cuba's suspension from the Organization of the Americas. So he did one good thing in this one particular scenario, but then how come he turns around and he does this and supports the right-wing coup in Bolivia? Because the dude's a grifter. The dude is a grifter. And he's a joke. And he's a puppet of the U.S. He's a puppet. He's like an empire puppet. He doesn't have any business being the Secretary General of the Organization of American States when he's supporting undemocratic behavior, which is what coup d'etats are. Undemocratic by their very nature. Yeah, this is what this guy did here. And he was called out for it. He was called out for it. And good for this protester. Spread the word, my fans and my friends. Spread the word. Because we need to spread the word. Because this is what's going on. And this is why I want to talk about all of this stuff for you guys. Because I believe in actual progress and making our country a better place. And I want my fans and my friends to know what's going on in the world, because our media and our government will never tell you. You got to find it on websites like Breakthrough News, The Gray Zone, and places like that, and towardfreedom.org. This is where you'll find it. This is where you will find the real news. And Jimmy Dore's show. That's where you'll find real news. And to a lesser extent, the Ring of Fire. Farron Cousins is pretty cool. Mike Paparino is pretty cool too. But Sam Cedar can go fuck himself. Because he's a fake progressive. He doesn't talk about this shit. He's a clout chaser. But this video is not about him. This is about the real issues in Latin America and the Caribbean. Latin America is not the U.S.'s backyard. And I, as an American, am saying that. And I want an end to this bullshit. I want an end to American imperialism in Latin America and in the Caribbean and worldwide. Enough with the empire. Our government is a joke. From top to bottom, Democrat and Republican. Our government is a joke. It's a joke. It's filled with neocons and neoliberals. Two dumbass parties. None of them can make a right decision for Americans or for the world. Kudos to this man. I commend him. The OAS Secretary General, I condemn. And the American government in general, I condemn as an American. Kudos to this man, and the hell with the rest of you. Good man. Kudos to him. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here because I'm going to spend the rest of the evening chilling out and relaxing before I go back to work tomorrow. I work tomorrow and Sunday, so I'll be back definitely with more videos next week. This was definitely a big breaking news story that I definitely wanted to attend, that I wanted to make as an attendance, because I wanted to attend to this one particular topic, because this topic is important and it needs to be spread. So I was thinking, today I just want to go chill and relax, which I did mostly all day today. So I figured this would be a good time to get on here and talk about this stuff and much more. And there will be more content like this coming your way soon. Thank you to everybody who watched. This is the truth of the matter. This is what's going on in the world today. Spread the word, share this video, do anything you want to do with it. Share it, spread the word, you name it, because this is the truth and this is what's happening. And this is Zach the Celtics guy reporting on all of this. And thank you to everyone who's listening. Stay safe, be well, have a good and safe weekend, and I'll see you all again in the next video stream or premiere coming up next week, next time, real soon. Stay tuned for more stuff on the way, coming your way soon. Bye for now. Take care. Be safe. And Latin America, stay safe. As an American, I say that. I commend this protester and them. This man I condemn. Spread the word. More stuff on the way coming up soon. See you all again next time. Take care. Bye for now. Peace out. And have a good day.